Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're regular here, you know I review many photographic, audio and video related products. Well, today we're looking at a new lens that I purchased. I purchased it for my Sony APS-C bodies. I've got the ZV-E10, which I'm filming the wide shot on here with my Sony ZV-E10. Love that camera. It's a really, really nice compact little camera. I've got the A6600, which I've got the lens fitted to here actually. It's on the A6600 and I've got an A6000, probably others knocking around somewhere. But I purchased it primarily for my A6600 and that's what I've got it fitted to here. And what it is the brand new Sigma 18-50 DC DN lens, and it's a general purpose lens really. So you've got wide angle 18, which is equivalent to 27mm in full frame terms. So it is a relative wide. It's not ultra wide, but it is a relative wide. And then it goes through to 50mm at the other end, which is a short telephoto. It's more of a short portrait lens. So that would be equivalent to 75mm in full frame terms. So it's a good all-rounder. It's a good general purpose lens to keep on your camera body without having to take off. And also it's a constant f2.8 aperture that I really love. So it doesn't matter where you are in the zoom range, you'll get that constant f2.8 aperture regardless of where you are in the zoom range. The lens does trombone. That's not an issue for me one iota, but it might be an issue if you're using it on a gimbal because it will affect the balance of a gimbal. Obviously, you know, when you zoom in, it might tip a bit, so that's worth considering. It's not a heavy lens though, and that's another reason why I purchased this lens. It's a really lightweight lens. It's only 290 grams, so you know, a very, very lightweight lens. And on the A6600, it's comfortable, it fits well, and it feels good. It feels really, really good. So so everything really fits in. It's got a nice quality lens hood. Very pleased with the lens hood. I say that because I have lens hoods which I really struggle to get on and off some cameras, but as a nicely made lens hood. It's plastic, but it fits on there nicely. Nice fit. Very happy with that. And the focus ring, nice and smooth. It is fly-by-wire, so you don't get clicks. You don't know, you know, it's going to be very difficult doing rack focusing with it, purely because it is a you know, electronic focusing as opposed to mechanical focusing. They call it fly-by-wire focusing. I don't do manual focusing very often, so I can't really say how good the manual focus is regarding, I mean, it's sharp, you know, I've done that and it's absolutely sharp, no problem at all, but how reliable it would be for rack focusing, but I don't do that anyway. Lovely smooth zoom ring, very happy with how smooth that zoom ring is, and it's got a nice knurled, you know, sort of grip to it, so you can, you know that you're gripping it. It's really, really nice. And it is a really, really good optic. Now I'm going to go through some of the images on the computer that I've taken, a few sample images, just to show you guys, you know, what it's like. Now it hasn't got optical image stabilization built into the lens, so that's another reason why I fitted it to my A6600, because the A6600 has got IBIS, it's got in-body image stabilization. So I think I would recommend, if you did buy, you know, the 18-50, use it with an optical stabilized body, or if you're going to use it on something like the ZV-E10, which hasn't got optical image stabilization, just set a slightly faster shutter speed so you don't get motion blur, you know, when you're taking your photographs. But I've used it primarily at the moment on my A6600. I haven't tested it on my ZV-E10. But now if we look at some of the images, I've just picked out a few sample images, and no particular order. We've got some here that I've taken in the garden and some that I took at a local park. But, you know, this is in low light, that one, and it is really, really nice. Colours are vibrant, sharpness is absolutely awesome. I mean, if you look at, these are straight out of camera. I haven't edited these. They are raw files, but I haven't edited them. That's at the 50mm end. So you can see how sharp that is, you know. It is really, really good. Yeah, very, very good indeed. You go through any of these images and you just see sharpness across the board. Colours are good, contrast is really good. I do find on some lenses they do lack contrast, but this lens is really good with contrast. It's, you know, got no problem with that. So you can see here it's lovely and sharp, the colours are good. Now, I think I have edited that one a wee bit. Let's have a quick look here, see if I have. Yeah, so you can see the before and after. So what I've done, I've brought the highlights down and pulled the shadows up a bit. You can see there I've put a little bit more blue in the sky. May well have overdone it, but you can see it's brought the detail back in the top of the trees here. So, you know, it's great with raw files. I said this in other videos. Try to shoot raw wherever you can, regardless of what lenses you're using, because you've got more flexibility when you come to actually edit the images. So, you know, again, a little bit of, and I haven't edited that one, but you could do with the highlights being taken down there just a wee bit. So I think I'll take the highlights down a wee bit on that. Let me get rid of that a second. Let's just take those highlights down a bit. That's better. Bring the shadows up a bit. Not a lot, but just a little bit. There we go. And you can see, again, the highlights are well blown out on the image straight out of camera, because it's a raw file. You can bring all the detail, all the clarity back into the image. So, wonderful. So, yeah, it's a, you know, a great general purpose lens. Keep it on your camera all the time. I'm really enjoying using it. We can have a look at a few more images here and look at the reds. Look how vibrant they are. A lot of that's to do with the processor in the camera, but also a lot of that is to do with the quality of the lens. So, you know, if we look at this here and go zoom in there, beautiful clarity. Really, really sharp. And, you know, when I talk about bokeh, you can see the bokeh there. It is really rendering that very nicely. It's smooth. A really nice, smooth bokeh, and I really like that. The smoothness between the focus and the outer focus part of the image is looking really good. So it is a really, really good general purpose lens. Now let's take a look at this image. It's really dark in the studio. I've not put any additional lighting on in the studio. It is basically just, you know, the room lighting. I haven't got me video lights on, but that is absolutely pin sharp, absolutely pin sharp on the cat's eye, little Sammy's eye. Very flat image, but just going to show how great it is even in, you know, very, very low light. That's shot at f2.8, 1/30th of a second on my Sony A6600. And as I say, that's what I use, you know, on a regular basis with this particular lens, because the camera's got the image stabilization. Now, they could have made, you know, the image stabilization, they could have put image stabilization in the lens, I guess. Of course they could have done, but that would have made the lens heavier and it would have made it more expensive. So I think Sigma have done a fantastic compromise where they've produced the lens at a great price, because it is a great price, but it hasn't got the image stabilization in it. So that's the compromise that they've gone with, and I think that was definitely the right decision. And if we look at a few other images, here that I took outdoors. Again, that's shot at f2.8, that's 50mm, yeah, 1/30th, 1/60th of a second, that is. But gorgeous sharpness on the horse's eye. Beautiful. But you can see how the focus falls off, because it's at f2.8, it falls off nicely. The trees are out of focus and the back of his body is all out of focus. So you can use it as a short portrait lens, and again there, lovely, you know, lovely image. Again, that's shot at the 50mm end again, so, you know, it is a nice portrait lens. Even the horse in the foreground's out of focus, but the horse I was actually trying to get, which is the baby horse, beautiful focus. You know, his eye is lovely and sharp. So but, you know, everything around it is falling out of focus. That's shot at f2.8, 1/50th of a second, 1/80th of a second. And you can see, you know, again, the brickwork of a church is lovely. The sky is naff. Now, the software that I'm using here is Capture One Pro. I use Capture One Pro on a regular basis. It's my standard, pretty much my standard photo editing software. I really enjoy it. I'll put a link in the description where you can download a trial version of Capture One Pro. It's well worth doing so. It won't cost you anything. Have a play with it, see what you think. And if you do decide you want to buy it, use the code AVP10 to get 10% off either your purchase price or your subscription price. It's well worth doing so. I make a wee bit on it, but you save money, I make a wee bit of money, and the developers are well happy because obviously they've sold another product. But there's an alternative program that I'm using all the time as well, actually, which is a Luminar AI and Luminar 4. Now that was taken on the same day. And you can change skies, you can do all sorts of things with Luminar AI. I love it. It's not so powerful for cataloguing your images, for creating favourites and all that kind of thing. But if you want to create some lovely skies and really make your images pop, that is a great bit of software. So if we look at that, well, now, as I say, this is Luminar AI, and you can see here that image is really popping. I've actually put a new sky in. I'll quickly show you how you do that. If we look at before and after, you can see obviously that's how it came out of camera. That's what I've done to it. So I've increased the contrast, brightness, done that automatically just by using accent. And that just, you know, really just brings it up. We can change the sky, just go into sky, we can choose a different sky. There's hundreds of skies that you can choose. There's probably thousands, to be honest, but, you know, just click on that and that'll change the sky. So that's more of a daytime look now. And you can do that with any of the images. Very easy to scroll through them, very powerful editing tools. And it's a really cost-effective bit of software. So that's another program that I use regularly and I recommend all the time. A, because it's really cost-effective, and B, because it's really powerful. Now, again, in the description there'll be a link to download the trial version, and if you do decide you want to buy it, use the code AVP to get $10 off your purchase price. And that's actually a really good saving because it's not very expensive anyway. So I would highly recommend Luminar AI or Luminar 4. I love it. It's a great bit of software. And, you know, I use both, but I use Capture One a lot for cataloguing and exporting because it's a powerful cataloguing bit of software, you know, for creating favourites and what have you. Yeah, so there's another lovely image. Now that's F2.8, 125th of a second. That was probably 18mm, I would think. That's been shot at its widest. That'll be 18mm. So, you know, you can see that these images are just so powerful and they're so good. The images itself maybe aren't that powerful, but you know what this lens can do. Now we can bring up the shadows a bit there because that's a bit, you can see the tree there is a little bit in shadow. So, you know, we can easily bring up the shadows a bit there. Bring a bit of, that's gone a bit flat, so we'll take the highlights down a bit to compensate. Let's give it a bit of clarity, a bit of structure, and after a quick 30-second edit, you have, you know, a much nicer image, a nice autumn sort of countryside image there, and that would print nicely. So, you know, again, I would probably actually crop that a bit, get rid of a car on the side there, just crop that down a wee bit, or go into some tools, into Luminar, and actually just take the car out. You know, as simple as that. Yeah, so there's some great software there. It's a great lens. I highly recommend this lens for anyone who owns either a Sony E-Mount body, particularly the APS-C bodies. Obviously it will work on the full frame bodies, but you'll have to work in crop factor mode. That's a bit pointless really, because I mean it's fine for video because you can shoot 4K video in crop mode. I do it all the time. I'm doing that on my Panasonic S5 at the moment. That's in crop mode. They also make this lens in the L mount, So it will work. If I bought it in the L mount, I could fit it to my Panasonic S5, but I wouldn't buy the L mount version because it is an APS-C crop sensor lens, and it will automatically put the body into crop sensor mode. A bit pointless with a full frame body, but great with your Sony APS-C bodies, and that's what I bought it for. It's only 290 grams, so it's not a very heavy lens. It's 75mm long, so it's actually a short lens. That's without the tromboning. Obviously, when you trombone it, it's going to be longer. And, you know, yeah, great lens. Fits really nicely. So there we go. Thanks very much for watching. I hope you found this video useful. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so, and hit the like button if you like the content of my videos. I've now reached over 10,000 subscribers, and that's all thanks to you guys and girls that have subscribed to the channel and hit the like button as well. So really, really appreciate both of those. I appreciate everyone who has subscribed. Let's hope I can get to the next 10,000 to make 20,000, you know, as soon as I can. That'd be wonderful. It would really, really, really excite me. So thanks very much for watching. Enjoy the channel and stay tuned for more videos relating to video and photography. Cheers for now. Bye.